Can eating health foods make you healthy? Well, the magic word in that sentence, well, there's a few magic words, is can and healthy. You are healthy. So what we need to understand is, what are you not eating, or what are you failing to eat, or what are you eating too much of that's disturbing your underlying description, which is health. So health is not the absence of disease. We are naturally healthy. We are naturally well. What we're always striving to do is have homeostasis. The homeostatic hum, the joy of homeostasis. What is homeostasis? It's the balance that we have with our external world. The world outside's always changing. We're taking in foods, temperatures changing, environments changing, chemicals changing, and our body reacts to that and needs to stay stable in a constantly changing world. And what people make the mistake of is that they think to be stable is to turn themselves into something non-living, inanimate, something like a rock or a statue of virtue. And you're a living, breathing, existing organism that's all within the circle of life. What health is, what homeostatic hum is when life deals you these little perturbations, these little knock you off your feet a little bit, which another word for those is stress. That's what a stress is, something that knocks you out of balance. What you have when you're healthy, when you're well, is an ability to absorb that and quickly recover. So the sign of health is your ability to recover. And one way that humans had homeostasis was when the environment yielded less food to eat. Every winter, because of homeostasis, we had packed on a layer of fat, so it didn't bother us. We were able to recover because that layer of fat that we were able to get because of our homeostatic ability to respond to the environment by secreting the right hormones that would make us eat enough, eat the right foods frequently, so that we put on that layer of fat. That layer of fat would save our lives. That was homeostasis. We live in a different environment now. There's food all around, but it's actually quite hard to find because that same food is triggering the homeostatic mechanism that would have been appropriate for the old environment, the one where winter was going to be long and barren of food, nutrients, building blocks, and especially fuel. So you needed to store up fuel. We don't need to do that anymore, particularly because we're not burning it at the rate that we used to. We don't need to keep warm the way we used to. We have warm clothes, we have heating, we live inside. You know, we don't need to maintain our body temperature. We don't need to walk anywhere to get food. We don't need to expend energy cooking it, preparing it, gathering it, hunting it. We don't spend any energy. Very few people even have a job that makes them labor. So you can be quite sedentary and successful. So in most of human existence, if you were sedentary, you couldn't have survived because you wouldn't have had food. For a short time, if you were sedentary, you couldn't have been successful because you wouldn't have been able to make money and be influential as far as decisions in terms of your group and things like that. So people who were vigorous and active, they might become more sedentary when they were really old and they would have wisdom, but you didn't have a person who'd been sedentary all their life and be successful. Now, being sedentary can make you more money because of the nature of our work, and we look at that success as a measure, and so we become sedentary because it looks like it's associated with being quite successful. They start you off the second they put you in school. Sit, sit, sit at the desk, don't move. You can't learn anything if you don't move around. And this is really against our nature, and it has created this external environment. We don't need much fuel, we need more movement, and we need more building blocks. So we need to adapt to this new environment. It calls on us to do less, but we have the same homeostatic mechanisms as before. We need to change those by the way that we're signaling ourselves.